Awareness is first and foremost just an understanding, being conscious of what's going on and the information around you. What's interesting is most people think of awareness as just a self-awareness, like you're very self-aware. You're aware of your feelings, or you're aware of like how your body feels, or you're aware of how you might see yourself. But these people, these successful people, have a very strong awareness of everything, of themselves, yes, but also other people. They're very present, and they notice what's going on around them, and they use all of that information to make the best decisions. When people lack awareness, we've seen a couple of different behaviors. One is tending to make assumptions, and that's because they're not necessarily aware of anything other than their own viewpoint, their own lens, the way that they see the world. Other people that are less aware can also be a little defensive, and that's very linked. So they'll, someone might say something to them, and then they'll just react immediately from that point of defensiveness. And that's because they're not necessarily aware or wanting to address some of their own internal barriers. Often defensiveness comes from a place because you've experienced something, and so you become defensive about something. And they're not necessarily aware of that. Their mind is just very distracted, very busy. They tend to feel very rushed, and so they're just not present. So they could be physically present. They might turn up to a meeting, they might be at home having dinner with their loved ones, but they're not necessarily emotionally or mentally invested in the moment. One, it builds stronger relationships for them. They have better connections with people because they're actually aware of how other people behave and are responding to them, so they can use that information. So take a manager, for example. If they're very aware of their employee, the employee's work style, how the employee communicates, they can then best support and value that employee. And when it comes to productivity, they're very aware of how they work. So they're working in the best way to increase their capacity. So the good news is that, the awareness muscle can be built. You're not born with like a fixed level of awareness, right? So no matter where you are today, you can increase the capacity you have for awareness. You just have to put in some work to practice it. So one thing that you can start doing today is start noticing. So let's talk in two ways. Let's talk about internal awareness. One thing you can do is start noticing, what are the signals my body's given me at different moments? So say, for example, you're feeling angry or frustrated. Where are you feeling it? What's coming through from your body, the signals? Some people kind of feel like a knot in their stomach. Maybe you get a headache. You can literally think to yourself the next time you're angry, just scan your body and be like, where am I feeling this? And that's really important, because the next time you start feeling that way, you'll know, I'm feeling angry right now. Let me take a pause and make sure I'm not reactive. And then externally, you can also start noticing. Start noticing how people respond to you. Maybe you can use different language and you get a better response. Maybe you say something a certain way in a meeting and it doesn't get the response you want. So you can start collecting this information and have an awareness of, how is that person responding to me right now? Because from that place of awareness, then you can make better decisions to improve. So awareness is really the first step to any behavior change. You can't change anything unless you're aware of it. And sadly, people aren't always as aware as they think they are, because in fact, they found in research that only 10 to 15% of people are actually as aware as they think they are. So sometimes we have to really take a pause and get an accurate reflection of how we're really showing up and what we really need to work on.